gentleman from Arizona, Dr. Gosar.
Yes, thank you very, very much. And I hear a common denominator here involving parents and making that a success story. With that being said, Dr. Edelin, do you support the multi-prong aspect that's currently going on in D.C. Full-heartedly in the education of our children?
Dr. Gosar, I am here as Executive Director of the D.C. Association of Chartered Public Schools, and my message is about the charter schools here today.
When we're talking about the education of children and being science-based, outcomes are everything. Wouldn't we acknowledge that we have a fundamental mechanism that's actually working here, and wouldn't we want to acknowledge support for that scholarship-type program?
We support everything that's working to bring a quality education to the children of D.C. The only evidence I can speak to directly is that of the chartered public schools.
If you're trying to get results-based from the charter schools, have you not reached out to the private schools to find out what's working for them?
Actually, I did. In my first year in this role, I reached out to the independent and private schools to find out how they do evaluation and assessment, because improving school quality is one of the primary pillars of the work of our association. So I have reached out to them. I've also reached out to high-performing DCPS schools and to other sources around the country for information about best practices.
Would you say then in a follow-up that they are a success model?
That I cannot attest to myself. I can attest to the quality of the charter schools myself. And I also have reached out to our Public Charter School Board, the authorizer, to get data they can stand behind with respect to the excellence of the schools and the shortcomings of the schools. Yes, so I can speak to charter schools.
Well, I'm finding this frustrating because as a dentist, I'm working on the premise of treatments that work and repetitions. And so I'm frustrated by seeing the modalities of vertical learning and not going horizontally to instill and work with parts of education systems that are working. And I find it frustrating that I see your educational model going vertical and not including those, the dialogue horizontally with all the rest of the educators. Is that a fair assumption?
With all respect, sir, I would say no. I have reached out, and I think the charter schools singularly seek collaboration in D.C. across all lines as far as quality and best practices are concerned. We have made every effort to form what I call a seamless collaboration across all the sectors so that all the children of D.C. can get the benefit of the best of what is known. It is not always reciprocated, but we will keep trying.
Last question for you. Have you benefited from the voucher system to the charter schools? And has there been a financial as well as an educational uplift based upon that program?
I'm not aware of any financial implications for charter schools. I may be wrong about that, but I'm not aware of any financial implications. And I have not been the recipient of, though I have asked, any best practices or any information about what's working with particular groups of children as we are sorting out within the charter schools with the express intention of sharing that information with all of the school systems involving our children. There is a crisis in this country with children of color from impoverished backgrounds and their learning, and we are actively engaged in finding out what works and sharing it. And I cannot say that we've been the recipients of similar kind of outreach.
Well, have you not received $104 million in regards to that because of the three-sector approach?
From the Federal funding?
Yes.
Over 3 years, would that be a figure? I'm not aware of 1 year's worth.
Since its inception?
I don't have that figure since its inception. I do know charter schools, as a part of the three-sector approach, have received funding, at least from 3 years I've been with the organization. Yes, sir, they have.
Thank you very much. I yield my time.